I think we're all looking for a repeat, but no, I think it was very valuable. So we appreciate that.
Well, thank you, thank you.
No?
Y'all doing all right?
I'm just trying to jam. I'm just trying to jam. I'm just trying to jam. Judge, Your Honor. Your Honor. Your Honor.
You're going to keep the event one today, and you're speaking, of course, we appreciate that graduation.
Am I? I don't know. When is it? I'm sure it's on the calendar. Don't stress. I don't know what I'm doing even tomorrow. I know that you have a whole bunch of them. I mean, like little gingers somewhere, I'm sure.
She says you were a little bit late. Like sure, like the maps.
I'm
You got two songs.
But no, I'm excited about you speaking. I told the guys today, so I know you're in session, so I want to just make sure we can jam into too hard. But it's been 4 since 3 weeks. I'm excited.
whatever I can do.
How's it going in session?
Seriously. Easy. Easy. I mean, it's super easy.
I take it. It's got some sugar. It's interesting.
It's just a simple thing. Not what I've done. I want to see more, but
Little steps at a time, right?
we have the 18 to 21. It's moving the house. Or 21 to 18, I should say, the opposite. Yeah. It's so fun. I'm so pro to it. He came to the first one. Or for your retirement. Oh, yeah, we're fixing. We're doing a lot of good stuff for that. So we're going to keep going. This year is round one. To be continued. We really need to do better across. So each year we do more than polar. Like, we
No operations. Is it like that? I'll take my What do you cut out?
He doesn't do sodas at all.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
Yeah, I have family in Tallahassee, so when I was a kid, we used to come down in this direction. Yeah, I grew up in North Carolina. So, how about you? Yeah. Yeah. But it's
Chipley
changed.
has a famous basketball player, Honor Gilmore.
I do know that name. I sure do. Yep.
Best sheriff in Florida. Best sheriff. Best sheriff in Florida.
We're biased, but I'll
You didn't get a bunch of flack for that, did you?
Yeah, she's still got, my mother still got a cousin
Maybe a
who
big
lives
baby.
there. Yeah. Yeah.
Better be. I think I should do like a 6-foot banner, just one, in the cover that says, Escambia County Water. So just hang that in. Just one, okay. Run
This
big,
morning.
This afternoon.
Come on.
I haven't listened.
you know the big round.
I started out with Sexual Assault Awareness
Would you
Month,
be okay with that?
Kids House.
okay with all of it.
I love telling everybody my sheriff's the best.
Should I do their annual fundraiser?
He's the best.
And now I'm here. I don't know what time it is. I don't know what time it is.
Hey, how are you, Brent?
It's been a full day.
Oh man, has it?
I was just telling them this is, at first, there was so much schedule. Just so much schedule here today.
Yeah.
But it was a good day.
This is a no-cost
So
shop.
we were,
My thing was like, they never write these things before. It puts us in a bind. Just
Good to see you.
I'll take a look at it.
I sound like Jeff, so or he sounds like me.
area of
Since I'm old.
There you go.
yeah. Yeah.
You know, I thought you
I mean,
All right, if you're on the board, please make your way to your seat, please.
My brother's out of town. He said, "Can you come sit with me?" I'll come sit.
oh, is that what it is? Oh, I like it.
How are you?
Interchangeable.
All right, good evening. We have a couple of people that are making their way. Mike Kohler is here. He'll be here in a second. D.C. Reeves should be here in a second. We will go ahead and get started. I think Commissioner May will be here in a second as well. Because I am a timely individual, we're going to go ahead and start with the public input. And if we have time, I'll try to get everyone's an opportunity to come and speak. When I call your name, please make your way to the podium with the microphone right there to the right. To my right, and then we plan on having public input for about 30 minutes, and then we'll go over some of the stuff that we have gone over in the past, and we'll build upon that, hopefully. So we'll start with Ms. Celestine Lewis.
First, I would like to thank God first, you second. I see and I hear, and I cannot be silent. I am Celestine Lewis. I am a mother, a teacher, and a lifelong advocate of children. I'm serving as Executive Director for the Jacqueline Harris Preparatory Academy. I again would like to thank you for hosting another roundtable discussion on gun violence. Safety from violence in our schools and community is my concern also. Thank you, Sheriff Chip Simmons, for returning my call and inviting me to this event to share with you briefly a little bit about our conversation. Thank you again. The purpose for my call was to ask for help in elementary schools in Escambia County. My thoughts were to expand your phenomenal Blazer Academy into elementary schools. This program helps to provide self-esteem as well as build relationships among law enforcement and our youth in a positive way. You have stated that funds were not available to do this in elementary schools. So today, this evening, I stand here boldly to ask for a collaboration between the Sheriff Department, police department, I don't see our superintendent, but I see board member and I see Mr. Roberts. I stand here to ask for a collaboration between the police department, the sheriff department, and the Escambia County School District to achieve this. Our youth need more preventive programs like this. Statistics have said the early years of a child's life are the most formative ones. So I think we've had a little bit wrong. We need more preventive measures for Escambia County boys and girls throughout Escambia County. We want to help dispel as an individual. I can only speak for me. I want to help dispel the belief that all police are bad, as media has portrayed them. I'm pleading for you to help find funding for this type of program in elementary schools. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. I do hear the buzzer went off, but I'm going to ask our commissioners to think about returning visits to the youth to let us be able to go to this county jail. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis. Stan McDaniels.
Chief Randall, Sheriff Simmons, I want to thank you guys for the opportunity to speak today. I currently have a case pending on appeal to the state for open carry in downtown Pensacola. And thankfully, the Brune decision has restored our Second Amendment rights. And in that Brune decision, it does state that the people have the right to keep and bear arms in public. In public, defined, is visible. So, I would recommend that we start with the school board in educating our children on the Constitution and the importance it has on this great nation and restoring the rights, the inalienable rights of the people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Robert Watkins? Robert Watkins? Roger.
First of all, thank you for allowing me to speak before you. And my purpose is to give you a vision which God has given me. And that vision involves men throughout Escambia County. If we can unify the men, and I'm talking basically men from church, if we can unify those individuals, we as men would like to go to the various schools and explain to the individuals what a man is and what a man can be and what a man does. My vision is not just limited to Escambia County, Pensacola. My vision is for Escambia County to take the lead and allow men to be seen as real men, not something as a toy or as a boy or as something that's pushed aside. God put men here for a reason, and that reason is to lead and to teach. It is not the woman's role to train children. According to the Bible, man is required to do that. And it's time for men, real men, to step up and show and lead. I'm not asking you for any money. I'm asking you to see my vision. And if you see my vision, I'm asking you for more support. Every Sunday morning at Brownsville Church, we have a group of men that get together and we pray and we follow the directions that God wants us to go, and that is being real men. We're talking about taking the weapons off of the streets, which is a great thing, and I applaud your efforts because I know it's difficult. I'm looking at the heart of the individual, though. You can take the gun away, but you haven't changed the heart. And with men being unified throughout the various communities from the various churches, I'm sure that we can together accomplish the goal that we're after. And that's my vision, and I respectfully ask that you consider it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get his information? Chip, can I get his information?
Yes, go ahead. Billy Smith? Is it Riley or Billy Smith? He lives West DeSoto Street, apartment 407.
Oh, dang. Look how serious DC looks.
Hello, I'm Lily Smith. My one and only concern is where did this illusion of gun rights come from? So I went tracking and tracing. In 2008, the Supreme Court handled the case of District of Columbia versus Heller. And in that decision, it was a split decision where Antonin Scalia and Samuel Alito were two who decided they would take the right to own guns for self-protection and hunting out of the 1689 British Bill of Rights. That was almost 100 years before America was created. So they were stretching and looking for something that did not exist. In the dissenting opinion, it was pointed out that they were legislating from the bench, something that they knew they had no right to do. My theory is if we're going to have legal gun rights in this country, Congress needs to get up off the dime and do it. You know, quit talking about it and pass an actual law. We don't want common law created from this Supreme Court of all for gun rights. They don't exist in my book. So, yeah, I want to see Congress do something. How does that address what's going on in the location we live in? Well, if Congress would just start passing real laws to address this issue, make it legal to own a gun for real. And that way, if you catch somebody who does not have a legal gun, take it away. I mean, how scary do you have to be? I'm 74 years old. If you pull a gun on me, you better be able to use it. I know how to fight, too. So, you know, it's my job. I'm going to be mentoring school kids in reading, and I'm going to be teaching them how to read and comprehend the U.S. Constitution, because that is just too valuable to waste. You know, if you can read a comic book, I can show you how to read that Constitution. And yeah, I do have law classes behind me. Thank you.
Thank you. Jedrick Horn.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody. I want to thank you, Sheriff Simmons, for having the round table once again, as well as giving me the opportunity to speak. Because with all the serious matters that's taking place in our city, we need unity. Sheriff Simmons, you stated something in the meeting I attended with you as well as the other three gentlemen. You said that it's not about egos as well as attitudes nor excuses when it comes to people working together. That meant a lot to me, and you were right. There are a few people I would like to speak about who have motivated me as well. Number one is Chief Leiter, Chief Randall, LaTimothy May, Will Smith, Rodney Jones, John Brooks, Charles Gibbon, Sheriff Presley, and last but not least, my mother, as well as you, Sheriff Simmons. All of the people I've named, I've had the opportunity of talking to them directly about different solutions to solve some of the problems that are taking place in our city. They all have shown me that they care. All of us has a purpose in life, and God has shown me my purpose, which is to help people, whether that's man, woman, or child. I truly have a passion for preventing any kid, whether they are black, white, Hispanic, or any other race, not to walk down the path that I did in the past. But I'm only one man. I can't do it alone. It's going to take all of us, meaning allowing our actions to speak louder than words. I've lived a long time to realize that all lives matter, no matter what race you are. We are all here for a reason. And if we work together for a positive outcome, there will be progress. Once again, I want to thank y'all for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Walter Wood.
Thank you all for giving me an opportunity here. But, you know, I'd like to get a question answered. And that question is, what is the fascination with guns? I don't understand it. The gentleman mentioned the Second Amendment, but there's other amendments that go along with it. The Second Amendment is not absolute. What is the fascination with guns here? I got 3 tours in Vietnam. I've seen what guns can do. And every day I'm afraid of some school shooting here in Pensacola or Escambia County. I just don't understand it. Now, 3 days ago, our governor signs a law that says you can carry a gun anywhere, no permit. What are we gonna do about that? So, you know, before the night's over, somebody just give me an inkling of something that's gonna restrict the use of guns. I'm afraid to go to Lowe's sometime. I'm afraid to go to Publix. Something might happen. And everybody is on edge. Everybody. So let me know what you think. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Sharon Gardner.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sharon Gardner, and I'm here on the behalf of all this violence that's going on. My son was missing 10 years ago, but I've went through that, and that's been ever since January 24th, 2013, and I still haven't found him yet. But I'm here tonight about all this shooting and all this violence. I've gotten in a situation Saturday, and it was some young men in the car, and they had more guns than I believe the Escambia County Sheriff had that night. And I've talked to them. I said, well, you need to go take those guns and put them somewhere. And they said, well, Mama, we're taking them. So I'm just tired of this violence. I just had a little cousin killed about a week ago. His mama had to bury him. And it's just like an ongoing thing, shooting up and down the streets, like nobody's caring about anybody's life anymore. So it's getting kind of dangerous to go anywhere. I was only dropping off a young lady. I just had left a funeral. And it's just so sad that nobody cares no more. And I'm trying to see if we can get some kind of resources or some kind of organizations where we can get this thing show on the road. Because it's just really sad around here that you can't go anywhere. People are too scared. And me, myself, I just try to keep guard wherever I go. That's why those young men didn't bother me the other night. So I'm just asking for Escambia County Sheriff officers.
Well, what resources do you have in mind?
We could get like a building, and we can have children to come there and talk with them and stuff. And I don't know where to go to get something like that. It's going to take more than me. It's going to take a village to do this. I can't do it on my own.
Right.
So if we can get that, I'm in.
Thank you.
Not just mine. I'm concerned about everybody's loved one.
Right.
Thank
you.
you. Mhm.
Steve Dragos?
Thank y'all for letting me speak. I'm a Pensacola resident from 1947, and I've come back about 10 years ago, and the problems haven't gone away. Now people have guns, and it's really important that as you do this work, you've figured out you can't chase them down, and you figured out that you need to do stuff in the community, and it's just wonderful that we're here at Brownsville. And I liken this to the time that we spent in Vietnam where we chased them all around, and until we said, no, we're going to stop right here, and nothing bad's going to happen right here, and we worked out. So I want to give you some encouragement that this is going to work, but I want to let you know that there's a lot of people wanting to come and touch. So if you could kind of have some person assigned that's like a central point, a communicator, to where you can publish your victories. You're never going to get the victory in the newspaper, but there are a lot of victories that you're going to have where kids are going somewhere, doing something, and so I applaud y'all for doing that. Our church is coming alongside West Pensacola Baptist that was about to close on Jackson, which is about a mile west and about a half a mile south. And we're not going to let it close. And when y'all are near where we're going to be, and I'd appreciate it if there was some sort of a plan being thought of where are y'all going to go from here. And in Vietnam, they had these plans like along this road or this or something. So it's not too early to start thinking about that. And again, I applaud this, the government workers here and all the people that come. This is just a great town. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We have about 4 more. We're going to cut the time down to 2 minutes so we can get as many people as we can to speak. We'll start with Megan Walters.
Good evening. The other day I saw a TikTok, and it was an officer's body cam. And the reason why they had responded to this house was because the child had inadvertently hit 911, and his dialogue was coming across to the dispatcher, so they had sent the police department out there because he had killed bodies. But it was really, he was playing Rainbow Siege or something. And as I watched the body cam, and days later I thought about it because they were very professional in how they handled it. They got the mom on the phone because the child was like 16 or 17. And days after, I was thinking about it, and I identified with that because I have 4 boys, and they play all the beat 'em up, shoot 'em up games. And I felt confident in our community because y'all are proactive. Y'all are sitting at this table, and y'all have our citizens here. So as a mother, you know, of this community, I just want to take the time to say thank you, because the caliber of law enforcement that we have and our leaders, It's something that, we're just a little slice of heaven here. And at this last meeting, I know it's only 2 minutes, at the last meeting, somebody said to me that they couldn't believe that I was here because I'm predominantly in the North End. But I think that that mentality is what's wrong and how we have to address stuff, because I'm on the west side of town, I'm in Inslee, I'm in the North End, and it's not like Warrington, or it's not, you know, East Hill, or it's not any specific problem. It's a Escambia County thing. And we all have to come together as Escambia County to work for this, like we are having these meetings. So, thank you.
Thank you. Rodney Jones.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Sheriff, for putting this round table together. Thank all you ladies and gentlemen who are here today. My name is Rodney Jones. We're just looking for more resources to matriculate their way in our community. I know there's been resources that came in the community. I know people say we don't need any more programs, but we need the right programs. We need the right programs, and we need the right programs funded. We got all that funding that came out for children in this community, and I don't see none of them here. I see none of them here. They got all that funding and all that money to address violence and all of these issues in our community, but where are they? I brought mine. Stand up, please, ladies and gentlemen. Please stand up. Because this is what I'm doing in the community. Because these are the places our kids need to be. They need to hear from their leaders, and they need to know what their leaders are doing. Please help us to help our kids. We ain't looking for nothing but funding to add more to what we're doing. We own our building. We got vans. Our sheriff helped us get them. We got vans. We need more funding to bring more educators, to bring more professionals in, that we might do better at the work that we're doing now. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Craig Chapman. Craig Chapman.
First, I would like to thank you for your focus on Brownsville. We really appreciate it. I'm curious as to why the area of concern stops at Kirk rather than extending all the way to Green, because we've personally heard the gunshots between us and Green Street. We've personally been victimized by burglary, and we've witnessed the vice that takes place in the evenings and overnight, parked side the streets on both the north side of us and the south side of us. So I would ask you all to start looking at taking this area of concern, please, all the way to Green Street. Thank you.
Sure. Pastor Timothy May.
Thank you so much, Sheriff. Thank you for this meeting. I'm just simply here to be an advocate for the community and for young people as such, and to ask a question. You know, what is prohibiting us from working together? You know, if we're going to remedy the problems of this community, we can't be afraid to sit down at the table with people that think differently than we think that we have a morality issue. We have been desensitized to the sociological component of just respecting each other as human beings. And so we talk about guns, but the gun is not the problem, it's the person holding the gun. And we have tables, discussion, round table, but if you keep having tables and not the right people at the table, that's all we're going to have is table discussions. I'm here to say I want to be a part of the solution. We've been a footprint in the Brownsville community for a couple decades, just 3 blocks this way. We have a footprint here, building resources. We started a school for underprivileged children. This past weekend, they had a gallery night, over 200 children, over 1,000 children have been graduated from that place for educational opportunities. We got to stop talking about it, and we have to be about it, because while we're talking, someone else is being killed. While we're talking, somebody's house being broken into. So when do we get from the place of talking and sitting down with one another? It does not matter what our ideologies are. We have to sit down with people that don't think like we think, may not believe how we believe, but we have to agree on some commonalities, which is when one part of the community is hurting, the entire community is hurting. And so let's pull together, find the people that are already doing things. We're doing things. We have a school. We have an early learning center. We have $1 million investment in Brownsville. You cannot come in Brownsville and try to do something without bringing the businesses. We talked about the faith base. You can't bring without bringing those pastors and leaders in this community. So if we're going to do it, let's do it. Let's not talk about it. And don't be afraid to talk to someone just because somebody don't like somebody. It's not about who you like. It's about not having another daughter or son in a grave prematurely. And so we're here tonight to say, I'll give you my number, call me. I work with the chief, I work with the sheriff, I work with District 3 representative. I'll work with anybody. But everybody have to know we're all in this together. If we're going to do it, we have to be in it together. Thank you.
We only have 2 more, so we'll go ahead and get these. Arnitha Jackson, welcome. Arnitha.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Arnitha Jackson. Welcome. And I am truly enjoying myself. This is my second time attending the meetings here, and I know that we are going to get somewhere. Sheriff Chip Simmons, I want to thank you and your crew. I live on Green Street and off Jackson on Green, and Green is never a dull moment. And whenever we call the police, they come out right away in 3s and 4s, packs. And we really appreciate that. We hear gunshots like you stated earlier, and we're just afraid. Now, I will be moving out of District 2 over into District 3 maybe in another 2-3 weeks. And I grew up in that area. I attended school at Catholic High. I used to walk to school. My neighborhood is going down. My brother, Michael Jackson, I don't know whether he's here, and my husband, Jesus, boy, he's up in here. And my husband, James, welcome. We are concerned about District 3, Brownsville. We're concerned about it. We just had a young lady gunned down by her cousin. We had a prayer visual for her. I want to thank Celestine Lewis for spearheading it, Commissioner May, Rodney Jones, and we had other individuals so strong they were out to show their respect and love for this family because it was truly a shock. It was unplanned. And we feeling the heat. So we are concerned about our area. We're coming back to our area. But I just want to thank you for all that you do. Judge Bagash, thank you for all you do. And the gun permit. Please allow me a little bit more time.
Go ahead and finish your
But the gun, thank you, dear. The gun permit, someone mentioned gun permit. I don't understand if we're fighting to put away the guns, how can you allow someone to pass the law to eliminate this gun permit? I mean, it's like we're taking a step backwards. So I need some clarification on that. I think that's pretty much all I have. Well, that went fast. But thank you for all that you do, and I will continue to attend these meetings. Thank you.
Thank you. Will Smith. Will Smith. There he comes.
Good evening. I'm Will Smith, and my concern is basically what everybody else around here is saying, the community. I want to speak about affordable housing and things of that nature. Only thing I can see is houses that people can't afford. And they losing their property and everything like that. And they losing their properties and everything like that for chicken feed. And $200,000 and $300,000 being built on the same properties that they once owned. That's ridiculous. How is this happening in Pensacola? People have built Pensacola, worked hard to build Pensacola, but yet this is the negativity that comes upon them. And the lady just
spoke about the gun violence and things of that nature. Here, Tallahassee want to bring a law into effect where 18 years old can buy guns and everything of that nature, whereas we already have enough killing. We don't even know the mentality of these people that we're dealing with. But you want to lower the age of gun, being able to purchase a gun? It doesn't make sense to me. And I'm trying to wonder why Tallahassee have not been connected as far as I represent this community to let them know they don't believe in that. They don't believe in that. How in the world can you reduce 21 to 18 whereas we have Parkland, all the different areas? I can go on and on, but I won't. You're aware of the news media. They tell you about all the violence, Mexico, children, killing children. But then you want to allow other children to be allowed to kill children. Affordable housing, which is my main subject. How can you move people out and put homes in the neighborhood that the people can't even hardly afford to pay rent? It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. But my belief is this: unless it affected you, you wouldn't understand. But as long as it doesn't affect you, it doesn't even matter. It's time to be concerned about the people in Escambia County. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Okay, I want to say thank you to all those who came out here and specifically to those who spoke. This roundtable wouldn't be what it is without public input, and we really do appreciate it. This is our third meeting, and come on up, Jerry. Come on up, Jerry. Come on up. Time to get talking. You ought to be up here.
Retired railroad, and I traveled most of the eastern part of the United States, and I lived in Chicago, Atlanta, Tampa, Miami, certain places that, you know, we all talk about violence. So I know what violence is about guns. Like the man just walked up and said a few minutes ago, the law enforcement in this community let us down. In the state, they let us down. We should never have an open permit and walk around here and carry guns like we're doing. Our law enforcement should have spoke up. You can't even protect your own officers now. If I was the police walking up to a gun or just a normal, average day, and somebody gonna shoot the police because everybody allowed to carry a gun. You let us down. You let us down. I'm named at the foot of everybody in this country, every law enforcement, every district attorney in the state of Florida, that you let us down. The gun violence that you see in this community, it's just beginning. It's gonna get worse. You know it and I know it too. It's gonna get worse. But we can start trying to help ourselves. One, stuff right, you got a chance to stuff right, when those kids coming through the detention center and all these programs and stuff right, start teaching them about guns. Start forcing them to go to those classes and stuff. Just like you do that driver's education, showing them pictures of people laying out there dead. Maybe you can do some of it. But that's something that we need to work on, and we can work on. But I feel that we have been let down by the police department, the sheriff department, state patrol, every person in this community and state and this country has been let down. I never wanted to own a gun in my lifetime. I'm like that guy back there. I've been a Vietnam vet too. I never wanted to own a gun. I own a gun now. It's not because I wanted to. But anyway, that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you. You said 3 or 4 times. You said 3 or 4 times that law enforcement let you down. I would hope you also consider the times every day and every night that law enforcement does not let you down, that law enforcement responds every time you call. Mr. Jackson?
Sheriff.
Mr. Jackson? Go ahead. Yeah, that's right. The governor's not here.
Sheriff Simmons.
Please.
Just a question. I think we've heard from the adults in the community, and I'm sure that we will be rolling out what we're planning on doing here in Brownsville. However, we have some young people in the audience that's really affected by some of the things they're seeing in school, as well as some of the things they're seeing in the community. And I'm just asking if one of them would like to come up and express some ideas that they may have. Right. You have any of the kids in the back that would like to come up and just give us some ideas of maybe what you think we should be doing?
Mike, if you want to go ahead and talk, and then Rodney, if you have someone you want to come up, just let us know.
Thank
Go
you,
ahead, sir.
Sheriff. Thank you, Sheriff.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry to sign up so late, but we was in our meeting over there, and we decided to come over here. But I'm just standing to let everyone know that every first Tuesday of the month, we meet to rebuild Northwest Florida. We meet every Tuesday of the month right here. And you don't know what you're missing not coming to these meetings, because Habitat give out so much that you're just missing. We have Sherry Duffy over here. She's over the code enforcement if anything need to get done. The Sheriff Department sent out a representative. We have our commissioners come out. So these kind of questions, you don't have to wait till every 3 months. You can come to these meetings, address your complaint, and we have connection with the sheriff. We have connection with the commissioners. We also have connection with the code enforcement. So please, ma'am, and please, sir, put it on your calendar. Every first Tuesday of the month at 5 o'clock, we meet right here in this building. And we would love to have you out. The sheriff now is putting on movie night, Sheriff? You got 2 movie nights, one here at Brownsville, and he's having one at Five Flag Speedway. Car show, crawfish boil. If you don't eat crawfish, you're going to give you a hamburger or hot dog. So come on out.
Thank you for the commercial.
So come on out. I say again, you don't know what you're missing not coming to these meetings. We need your help. We need your help. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you. There you go. Ms. Robin, you got someone?
Hello, my name is Ava. My voice might be a little shaky, I get nervous. I'm glad I have a chance to speak. Hearing all these things has made me think about things that I see in every day, so I'm glad that I had the opportunity. I'm a high school student. I go to Booker T. D-Rob, what's up?
How you doing?
I'm good, how are you? He has been a prominent member in my life, so I'm glad you've helped me in many ways. I genuinely appreciate the Escambia County school system. I think that it does a lot of great things for our students, but I think that we also fail in some ways. I think that preventative measures are extremely important, and teaching children about empathy and the effects of their actions is super important. That's obviously something we learn from a young age, but carrying that on through the duration of your primary school years is very, very important. And also letting kids feel seen and accepted for who they are. A lot of resentment and hate grows in children who feel like they can't be somebody in this world. And that leads to things like violence and taking out your anger on other people, which is not okay. And I also think that our educators need to be more pushed to be involved in the children's parents' lives. I have multiple friends whose parents are not involved, and you can see them suffer. So it's not just a school thing, it's just not just a police thing, it's also a parental thing. I think our children need guidance. What else can I say? Really, I guess that's it. I think there needs to be more community, more teaching of empathy and understanding and patience and growing, and not so much hatred and closed-mindedness. I think people just need to kind of breathe and open up a little and figure out how to work together instead of be angry that stuff isn't working. So.
Thank you. All right, let me just go ahead and rehash just briefly. This is our third meeting. The first meeting we met and we had some input. The second meeting we met, we had some input. Most of the input, as you can tell even today, is about guns in general and about programs and about opportunities, about mentorship, and that really has stayed consistent. We all kind of understand that. But in the last couple of meetings, we've decided that we would try one geographical area and put all of our collective efforts into that area and then use that as a template. What works we keep, and what doesn't work we discard, and then we move on to another area. I think that the biggest question that I've been asked is what do we hope to gain from this? And really, it all boils down to action. Eventually, we can talk and talk, but we have to talk, we have to walk the walk. So what I'm going to do is just, the first meeting or two, I gave you kind of a snapshot of what's taking place in the homicide. I can tell you the violent crime, there's a 7% reduction just this year alone, on top of the 8% reduction we had last year. I'm sure Chief Randall has similar reductions. So again, there are some things to be excited about, but that doesn't mean we have to stop because one is too many. And what it means is that we need to continue to push forward. I would like to draw your attention to the map. We've sent it out to everyone. For those who are new, this is basically our Brownsville area. And as you can see, it basically centers around where we are now. It's on Cervantes Street, and it goes all the way over to Godwin. Doesn't go to Green. I apologize for the not quite going to Green, but we can stretch some resources over to Green Street. And it's the area is split between the city and the county, so we can take advantage on this first geographical area. We'll take advantage of the resources that the city of Pensacola has and the Escambia County has. And we'll go over just a second about what we already know that people are willing to bring to the table. But before I do that, I want to go over the representation that is here. I'm not yet going to ask you to speak because we get long-winded, and I'd rather just zip on through here. I'm going to turn it over to Lori Gilliam at the end of that. We have our City of Pensacola Mayor, D.C. Reeves is here. Thank you. We have Commissioner Mike Kohler here. We have Commissioner Robert Bender here. We have County Administrator Wes Marino. We have Council President Delarian Wiggins. We have Chief of Police Eric Randall. We have Lori Gilliam, as I said, United Way. We have David Williams from the school board. We have Dr. Michael Roberts, also with the school district. We have our well-traveled state representative, Michelle Salzman, who was in Tallahassee making laws, and then she thought it was important enough for her to drive all the way over here. We really do appreciate it. We have our state attorney, Ms. Ginger Madden. Thank you for being here. We have one Burgosh sitting in for another Burgosh. We are fortunate enough to have Circuit Judge Gary Burgosh. Thank you for being here. And we have Commissioner Lumen May here as well. If you recall, on the very first meeting, there were some questions, and I made the comment that, because we talked about resources for children, and what we came up with was a decision that maybe we should have a resource guide for families, so that if a child is dealing with mental illness, then there's something that maybe a resource guide, they can know who to call and where to contact. And if they're dealing with an addiction, then maybe they can deal with that. If they're dealing with guns or drugs or anything that they just need to talk to someone, we would have this resource guide. Since then, we've had many discussions with Laura. And Laura, can you give us kind of an update on where we are at with this family resource guide?
Sure. If I can figure out how to turn this on.
It's on.
Should be on.
All right. Is it working?
Mm-hmm. Bring it closer.
Okay. All right. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure. So the Family Resource Guide, I don't know how many of you are familiar with 211. That's an information referral line available 24/7, 365 days. There's an online version of it as well. We've got over 1,400 resources in that database, anything from childcare to substance abuse treatment to getting help paying rent, a whole variety of resources in there. And so we met with the sheriff to offer our help in putting together this guide, because we have a host of resources that are already in the 211 database that can go in this guide, and then work with providers in the community, work with sheriff staff, Colonel Mindy Young and Suzanne Crozier, to put together those additional resources for this guide. So it's going to include, as you said, mental health resources, substance abuse treatment resources. We're working, basically kind of our goal is to pull and to come together to meet the community's needs. So we've reached out to and have engaged Lakeview Children's Home Society, Lutheran Services, SEDNet, Northwest Florida Help, Baptist, and of course our own database material. And then we've also reached out to NAMI. I don't know if Mike has been able to get a hold of them, but we expect that they'll be providing some resources as well. So what we're going to come up with is a rack card. We should have a draft of that for approval by the end of this week. We will also have a QR code on that card. That's going to be available for rollout with an online guide by April the 18th. So if you click that QR code, it's going to take you into the online database, and that database is updated regularly, sometimes daily. So the information that you're going to be able to access through this rack card, through that code, is going to have you getting to the most updated information that we have about resources in the community. What we do know is that there's a lot for young people. I think the concentration is maybe more sort of middle school. There seems to be a plethora of mental health services, so to speak, for that age group, but we are really not seeing as much as we'd like to see on the substance abuse treatment side for that age group. So just a little information that we're finding as we go through this process.
Thank you, Lori. You know, as I can say, as I was saying, there are a number of things we're trying to hit all at once. Originally, it was what is law enforcement doing? And again, I'm not going to speak for Chief Randall, he can pipe in, but there are some things that we've been doing. I mean, we increased our gun crimes unit. We've pursued some bad guys. We put some guys that are bona fide gun carrying bad guys, and we have concentrated on getting them off the streets. They had warrants, and we took no for an answer, and we wouldn't take no for an answer, and we took these guys off the street. But that doesn't mean that we've solved everything, because as I said earlier, there are a lot of people that come up here and all they talk about was the programs and resources and having events and offering their services. A lot of people in this room have volunteered to do something. So how could we do this this operation and include everyone? So what we're doing is we've created a calendar. We're going to have about a 2-month operation here in Brownsville. We're creating a calendar. It's going to be on the Sheriff's Office website, probably starting Monday. And I'm going to go over some of the things that I've been made aware that our partners, you at this table and you outside that are watching, that have decided that they could do. And once we get that, then I'll open it up for discussion amongst the crowd. So our corner was apparently used to be Keep Pensacola Beautiful. They've decided that they would help clean up the area, and this is all going to take place within this geographical boundary and also within this time frame. The county staff, and I'm not going to speak for anyone, so if I'm saying something that you want to clarify, please feel free to do so after I get finished. County staff, I've got some roadway cleanups. Code enforcement's going to do what code enforcement does. There's going to be some community conversations outside of this round table to include CDAC, to the Minority Chamber of Commerce, the school district. These are 3 community conversations that I'm aware of, and that will take place likely here at Brownsville, but within this period of time. Animal control is going to be out here because they've got an issue with some wild animals, wild dogs out here. Parent University will have, as I understand, 2 events. The Florida license bus will come out here to help people get a driver's license. That will park up here for a period of time. The community health bus will be here. I don't want to speak for Commissioner May, but there may or may not be a library opening up within this time. Right, it'll certainly be starting in earnest with this time period. Florida Power and Light will be working on getting the lights. They've already isolated which lights are out, and based on our conversations, they're going to start lighting up Brownsville during the nighttime. Let's see here. We got Element, the city, and again, Eric, I don't want to talk for you, but I understand there's at least a coffee with a cop and scoops and hoops, whatever that is. Warrant sweeps. There's fire services going to be in here in the same time. And then we will have our movie night, which is on the 23rd of June, and the movie will be played right here behind us in this, I call it Shoemaker Park. I'm not sure what the name of the park is, but it's on Shoemaker, so that's the name of the park. Now that is what I have right now. What I'm going to ask of you is when we get the calendar up, if you start putting what your resources are on a specific day. I like the weekend stuff. If we have a bus out here, a library, that's perfectly fine. But this is not a sheriff's office, every event is not a sheriff's office event. This is a calendar, and we're going to ask you to put your information, whatever you have. If it's code enforcement every other day, that's fine. If, Eric, if you don't want to put your warrant people down there, because we're not putting everything we're doing down there. We're not letting them know where we're going and what house until we can, until we can get, we'll do it after the door's kicked type of thing. But again, and then also later on, we're looking at, this is one thing that I've got a couple questions on, and then I'll open it right up, Ms. Salzman. Is it, how come we only got the same group here? Well, what I'm hoping that this will spur is two things. One is a template to build, and we'll see what works, and we'll move this to some other areas, whether it's the city takes it to a city area, county takes it to a county area, or we continue a collaborative effort into another area on the west side, or maybe somewhere on the north side. But also, I'm hoping that we spur, and I'm calling for conversations with the religious community. I'm hoping that outside of the sheriff's office, the religious community in this area decides to have one of these community conversations on their own. I'm asking that the businesses do the same thing, maybe collaborate with the Chamber of Commerce, and you can do this. You don't need us, or at least you don't need me. You may need the mayor, but you don't need me to come here and facilitate this, but I will be glad to show up. I'll be glad to help out in whatever way that we can. But those are 2 or 3 things that we're going to do, hopefully during this operation, if not after this operation. So you get an idea. This is the time, this is the location. The time period is ending in probably 23rd of June. We'll start next Monday, I guess, with whatever operation you want to do. And in the meantime, it seems like we're going to have a number of different things clicking, and that's why we want to ask that you would put those things on the calendar. It's not the end all. We understand that, but it is something, and it's more than we've ever done before that I'm aware of, and it's something that we can take what works and move it to somewhere else. If something doesn't work, well, we'll change. If something works well, then we'll increase that. We'll double that up. So with that, I'll open it up, and I'll start with Representative Salzman.
Y'all know I always got something to say. So I have a couple of points to make. The resource guide that we are creating, 2 things on that, and then I'll let other people talk. One is what I would like to do, I would like to get area coordinators potentially assigned, because we know that we have the mental health and substance abuse resources, but a lot of times it's a month, 2 months, 3 months, it's a long wait. So if we can have a dedicated leader in that at Lakeview or whatnot, and I can help with that conversation, I think that would really make an impact on this community. What we know from our mental health task force is when you say, oh, it's okay to ask for help, and you tell people to ask and there is no help, then it makes it worse. So I think that it's important that we make sure we have a dedicated resource of some kind to the Brownsville area while we're doing this 2-month sweep. The second thing is something I've offered to do each time, and I think we're almost there. I would love to get these cards that you have and maybe even have some of them in a door hanger mode. I will put on the tennis shoes and let's get some folks out. Let's just go door to door in this area here and put these cards on the front doors of these people or on the fences or whatever. Let's bring these resources to these families so they can see what it is we're creating. Those are my only 2 at this point.
Thank you. Anyone else? Robert, Commissioner.
Thank you, Sheriff. Just to piggyback on what Laura said, about a month ago, the county entered in the agreement with 211 and 988, and so to have mental health assistance locally, or rather you call and you talk to someone local who can help. So that is out there. So mental health 988. You also talked about substance abuse, and so we have started our core program. We're still standing it up, but I think they have made some calls and starting that process to go out in the community and try to help get help to the people, get them to that first appointment. And so I think that is a angle that we're working outside of just the gun violence, but some of the things that you pointed to. So I did want to also thank you all for taking that on and being a vital part of our mental health community. So thank you.
Thank you.
Sheriff, I just want to make I think I'm on, if not, I'll talk loud. You mentioned about resources, and Lumen, you put me on CDAC. And one of the things I need to talk to maybe you folks about, CDAC doesn't have any counselors at all in Escambia County. They pulled them all out, and they're all in Santa Rosa, all 38. So the first meeting I went to, I called Paul Fetzko about I think we need to look into that because there's no CDAC counselors in any of our schools in Escambia County. They're all in Santa Rosa. So I think that's something maybe I need to work with the school board and we need to address. And they mentioned you guys have the navigator, and I don't know if that meets the same intent. So I probably need to be educated, or we need to know if that meets the intent of what the CDAC does. The second thing I want to say is I want to follow up with what Michael said and also highlight something with the sheriff. I go to multiple neighborhood watches. Every one of these has a deputy. They're not just in Brownsville. I've been to this one 3 times. I think we never have had over 10 people. They're in Mayfair. They're in every one of the low-income areas in District 2. I can take you. So if you live in District 2 and you want to get involved, come talk to me because I can tell you where to go. But they also, if you want to start one, the Sheriff's Department has a wonderful program to do that. And they always have a deputy there. And you could talk to them. So I think we need to highlight that program a little bit.
Thank you. You know, it always is, it comes down to the individual neighborhoods.
Right.
You know, and that's why we're starting somewhere. Anyone else have any?
Chief, I mean Sheriff.
You're dating me now.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Chief Randall. But when we started this, I often say you got to start with the first step and not wait till the plan's actually implemented. And Representative Salvin said, what are we going to do? And I simply said, we're going to start regardless what this committee does. And so I'm very thankful to my staff for what has happened in Brownsville. Since our initial meeting, we've initiated with the help of our staff and Wes and Claire, I appreciate it. Probably the largest septic to sewer conversion in the history of Brownsville is happening right now, all through Lee Street from W Street to Pace Boulevard. I think because of the initiative of this program. Right behind this center, as you call Shoemaker Park, there's a house that we partner with AMI. Young people and young at-risk African-American children renovated that house that's right behind you. That is a jewel of this community, and we were able to do it through our workforce block by block program. And so they developed that house, and they'll be working on the Masonic Lodge to work with our contractors to build that house. We started a performing arts program here that has happened with Leroy Williams and Claire. Not only are we doing performing arts, but we're working on visual arts as well. And those are not things we're talking about. They've been implemented with Cheryl Watson, and kids are singing. We have a robust senior program that has started since this has started here at Brownsville, where we have seniors from Brownsville Manor, seniors throughout this Brownsville community, as well as Evanwood, who are coming here, who are coming 3 days a week in a senior program and being safe, being taken care of. We have partnered with Community Health to provide a yoga program here 3 times a week. Well, many of those seniors who were underemployed or did not have the resources have now been employed with stipends from Community Health. And so I take this commercial moment to thank our staff. And people say, what are you doing? The proof is in the pudding. We're doing it. We hadn't got it perfect, but we're doing it. This is the only after-school program, Evanwood and here, that a child doesn't have to pay. And we didn't get any funding. Some people got funding and they still charge children. And so we do have a sliding scale where children can come to this program and get the opportunity to do after-school, summer, and more importantly, and Claire's here, I think right now we have 279 children who are employed through our summer employment program. Of the 279, a program that we started right out of here, out of Brownsville, we've enhanced it. About 17 to 20 of them are gainfully employed for Escambia County. And so we know that the poverty, the blight causes crime and problems within the community, and so these young people have jobs that they can stay on. And so we petition any organization, municipality, to give children an opportunity. And we pay their salary. I'm very thankful to my colleagues, Commissioner Bender and Barry and Bagash and Kohler, for finding that funding, because most of us grew up through summer employment programs, but those federal funds and state funds were cut. But we took local dollars to employ young people. And so we are giving them the opportunity. And so many of them are placed in law enforcement, many of them placed in IT. We have 3, I believe, 3 African-American young men who don't go into IT who are now working working in our IT program because they came through our summer employment program. And so to me, that's 3 lives that are being saved. And so we have people that are working in the tax collector. And so if you have the opportunity within your office, within your preview, please get with Claire to give these young people an opportunity, because that's what they've lost. It's not about guns, it's not about anything. Children have lost hope. And how do they gain hope? They gain hope by gaining resources. They gain resources by being employed. And so we're not just talking the talk. I want to thank, I see my staff, my CRSA, Megan, I see Claire, I see all of my CRA, my Brownsville people, Leroy up there, in the county of Escambia County, regardless of what you think, we're not talking the talk, we're walking the walk. So I'm very thankful to our staff. So thank you.
No, thank you. You know, I think it's okay to be excited. It's okay.
I love
It's okay
Brownsville.
to be excited in the face of a lot of work. I mean, we all understand there's a lot of work to be done, but you can still be excited at the successes. We can be excited at the fact that we're coming together and working like nothing that I've ever seen. And again, we're also going to be flexible. If something doesn't work or it's too, you know, maybe this isn't the area for it, then we'll just make those changes. Judge, anything?
I'm sitting here for my brother, and so unfortunately, judges.
He would certainly talk about now.
He would have talked about it. Judges, unfortunately, he would have went first. Judges are more reactive than proactive, unfortunately, in our system. You know, you've got the legislature makes the laws, the executive executes them, and the judges say what the law is, or really every day what we do is deal with criminal or civil or family, or what I do today, domestic violence issues, intimate partner violence, which are issues that come before me. So I think I'm here just to maybe add that part to it. But I wish judges could be a little more proactive, but unfortunately we can't. But you gave me an idea right here with the money. Maybe we can get some more kids to shadow judges. They volunteer. Maybe we can get them paid to do that.
We'll pay them to come.
And maybe we'll get some young people to come and be lawyers.
How many do you want?
Well, we'll talk after.
Okay, we'll play.
Yeah, let's do that.
Well,
So
and
if
I think
there's
Jeff has
kids
some
that want to
discretionary
shadow a
funds.
judge, we can get them placed. So that you helped us there, that's a good thing. Thank you.
That's actually the value of a round table, that if someone has an idea and say, hey, we can do that, we can help, and we can help. Pretty soon we've tripled the number of young people that are working the intern program, and a lot of people that come up here, not just today, but they've come up here the last couple of days, have said these kids need something to do. They need something to do now, and they need hope for the future. So that's kind of where we're at. So I will reiterate, it's okay to be excited when we got a glimmer of hope, and we got things that are we're working towards, and hopefully make us a better community. David, anything?
Yes, and thank you for inviting me, and thank you for being a part of this. And it's very encouraging. I wrote down some notes, and some of the things that we're doing in District 3 and also in the school system that we're bringing to the table, and you heard it from Ms. Lewis, is conflict resolution. One of the things we want to put into our schools is conflict resolution, where we want to start it in elementary school, through middle school, and through high school. And that's not only for students, but it's for teachers and administrators as well. And the young ladies probably said it best, is that we need to have educators who are pushed to build relationships with students, because that's how we're going to change our community. And that's how we're going to make a difference. I'm just so encouraged that we have so many entities here that are doing what they can do. The young man came up, and I want to encourage him that we want mentors in the school. We have a mentoring program at every school. We'd love to have you involved. And also the funding that Mr. Jones talked about, and we're hoping that through the Children's Trust Fund and other places that we're able to get those fundings, especially for those who are most needed. And then also we just want to come together. Everybody's got to do their part. And I'm excited about the possibilities here. And again, I don't like to just talk, I like to do the action as well. So let's don't drop the momentum that we have here today in this community. I don't know if this has ever happened recently. I'm new to politics, so maybe y'all been meeting and I don't know. But for all of y'all, for all of us to be at the same table at the same time and speaking candidly about the issues, let's get them solved. Because what happens in the community invariably is going to affect our school system. So just thank you for the invitation, Sheriff. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Chief Randall?
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. I just want to say a few words and be brief. But I just want to say I'm so excited. I'm so energized and empowered to see all of our leaders of the community and the community come together to come up with some solutions when it comes to not only gun violence, but quality of life issues that many in our community suffer from. But one of the things I want to add, I mean, we're going to do a lot of sharing things and things of that nature in collaboration with, law enforcement, code enforcement, and things of that nature, and with the city government. But one of the things I think that's going to be groundbreaking and instrumental is, being able to have this resource guide that United Way and Laura and her team are working together to put together. Because an aspect of what we're going to do in the city is, one thing that my plan is the police and fire chief and our command staff, each week we will put on the website a date and a time and a meeting location, but we're going to walk that area. So this is an opportunity for that guide to get out, and State Representative Solomon is an opportunity to partner with us, because I think the more information we can get out there, the more we can show that we care and we come together as a community, not the county, not the city, not the community, but we're all working together. I think we're going to make a difference. And focusing on this one area is going to be the opportunity to show how a community can come together, work strong, and empower others around the community in Escambia County and the city of Pensacola of how things can be done when you come together. But I'm so excited, I'm so empowered. My team is ready to roll, and in the city of Pensacola, some of the departments that I've been talking to about what's going on, I think the energy is there. It's just getting rolling, trying to get it out there. But I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for putting this on. Thank you for everybody for being here. And I think it's important. Nothing that we do, we have to remember, gets done without the acceptance, understanding, and approval of the community. And you guys have really turned out to these meetings. You have really got involved and truly have made a statement of what you want to see and how we work to resolve these issues we have in our community. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sheriff, Lumen made me think of something that I wanted to mention. You think about the state attorney's office, and primarily you think of that as a prosecuting agency. But locally and throughout the circuit, we are also an employment opportunity. It made me think about what you said, Lumen. If I'm fully staffed throughout the circuit, I've got about 230 employees. Only 70 of those are lawyers. Only 70 of those positions really require a college degree. If you have it, great. But we've got positions throughout, support staff, IT positions. We have dug really deep into UWF and some other vocational programs to try to bring interns into the office. My feeling is that I can get individuals who are invested in the community, residents in the community, to come in and work in the state attorney's office, then they are going to give at the level that their interest is. And so I want to encourage anyone who's looking for an opportunity, an internship, to look into our office. Again, we've got IT positions, legal research positions, legal assistant positions, answering the telephones, and we've got great benefits. And I would love to see our residents get involved in our prosecuting agency.
Very good. Mr. Mayor, anything?
I just want to add one thing, really inspired a lot by the first meeting here. I was fortunate to meet, there was about 20 mayors around the country that were in Miami to meet with the director of ATF, and were able to, and I learned a lot through this, and I'm going to talk about a lot of things that law enforcement and our state attorney already know, but ultimately they were really just talking about what the data is showing of what their greatest concerns are when it comes to handguns. And there's just two takeaways from that. One was, I think that they've said that we've eclipsed 1 million stolen guns. I think there's over 1 million guns missing or stolen in the United States. And I don't know the data here locally, but I can pretty much guarantee that I imagine when we have gun crime happening that there's a pretty good chance that it's from a stolen gun. And then the second stat, again, we got experts here that know this, but just as an amateur, just something that was just really striking is they also measure time to crime, and that is that from the time that a legal gun is purchased to the time that it's used to commit a crime, be it stolen. Again, another data point about stolen guns. is shrinking. I want to say it was 24 months recently, and I might have these a little bit off, and now it's down to 18 nationally. So those, it's not where you stand on gun control. Those are just data points that suggest that, is there something that we can do? And I think about that. Is locking your guns up. You've read about it here happening locally, where cars are unlocked, and so this is not a new concept. I get it. This is something we've talked about locally, regionally, nationally. But just as a citizen of this community, you hear those are striking numbers that really resonated with me to think about. What can you do? Well, if you own a gun, you can lock it up, and you can make sure that, because you can pretty much guarantee that if it's stolen, that they're not stealing it to use it at the gun range or to go hunting. They're using it to do something that isn't good for our community. Anyway, I just wanted to share that data with you, and it was, again, striking to think about those numbers and just about something that citizens can help and try to improve our situation.
Thank you. Well, I do want to give one more update. We were talked the last couple of roundtables about a real-time crime center. The Sheriff's Office is partnering with the City of Pensacola Police Department to come up with this real-time crime center in hopes that the people that are willing to commit a crime, they won't do so if they know that they're more likely to be caught. And this is going to involve a lot of cameras, a lot of computers, a lot of time, a lot of effort. We're also looking at an appropriation through the state legislature for a shot spotter. You've heard us talk a lot about the shot spotter. These are kind of heavy lifts for all of us, and so we have again, the city and the county the sheriff's office and the city has combined on this shot spotter effort, and we will let you know kind of as it gets going. We're going to do the real-time crime center. We're taking care of that no matter what. But if we can add the shot spotter, if we can't do it this year, we're certainly going to add it next year. I think it's going to bring a whole new functionality to the local law enforcement, and we can start to get these people off the streets that are they're harming our neighborhood. So that's the update on where we were. So unless someone wants to say something really quickly, I'm going to kind of go where we are now. Again, we're starting this operation. If you want to see another copy of the map, we've emailed it to you. If not, you can get it from Ronnie Rivera. And I want to thank him for kind of helping us spearhead this thing. I know that Lumen thanked those who were put it on, and I certainly want to thank them as well, because without them, we wouldn't be able to put this thing on.
And I promise to thank Ronnie at least 5 times, so I'll do it.
Well,
Thanks, Ronnie.
He only
Thanks,
gets
Ronnie.
one. Me, well, twice. I said it twice now. But hey, like I said before, it's okay to be excited about where we're going. It's okay to be critical of yourselves and say, hey, this didn't work, let's try something else. But I can't tell you how much I appreciate you all showing up, both from the community and from the elected officials and those that represent the various agencies that are here, because we could not do this without you. And David made a comment, we may have been doing these in the past. I have not been part of one of these. Everyone has roundtables, and then they talk a little bit, and then they talk some more, and then they go home. But I think the fact that we've been able to build upon what we're discussing, and truly take the input from the citizens, and because if you notice, what they're saying is programs. We talked about programs. We're talking about jobs. We talked about jobs. We talked about opportunities. We talked about crime. We talked about a lot of things that is going to be in this operation. Again, the calendar is going to be filled up, hopefully. We have it for 2 months, and we will put the information out as it gets closer on the movie night. The hope is that this movie night will be on June the 23rd. It'll be a culmination where we'll get together and we'll say, hey, this worked and that worked, and hopefully we can invite a lot of people from Brownsville. Hopefully all of you will show up on that date. We'll feed you hamburgers and hot dogs while you can watch a movie, and I can guarantee you that particular night will be the safest place in town, because we'll be a number of people here. So once again, I want to say thank you all for being here. Again, we could not do it without you, and unless someone has anything else, we will adjourn for today, and the operation starts basically right now, and then we'll follow up and we'll announce this movie night on the 23rd of June. Thank you.